Here, go see it. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. My name is John Lohr. I'm the Finance Committee Chair, and I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is March 11th of 2026 at 7:01 p.m. Before we get started, though, I'd like to have everyone introduce themselves. Starting off to my far left, why don't we start?
Heidi Gilmore.
Eric Martinson.
Joyce Moriarty.
Mike Cron.
Mark Johnson.
Brett Hausler. Ruby.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to remind everyone that there are many ways to access the Finance Committee meeting and the material. You can watch at your local access channel on Comcast Channel 6, as well as Verizon Channel 38. You can also watch it on millismedia.org, as well as live streaming on YouTube. And last, you can attend in person if you wish, right here on Wednesday evenings. And the last item is all the material that we cover in tonight's meeting, as I say at every meeting, will be available online on the Finance Committee webpage on the Millistown website. So without any further ado, we'll get going into the agenda here. And we will start off with Town Clerk. Come on down.
I'm the next contestant.
You are.
This is great. All right.
Right now, you're the only contestant.
I'm Kathy Smith. Thank you for having me. Amanda's gonna help me with my PowerPoint.
Yeah. Let me know whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Yeah, okay.
And I apologize about the date. We had the date for the, when we presented to the select board, so.
Okay.
should have-
Has any of the data changed?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Amanda is a whiz at this. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna go, so just a little bit of information about the town clerk's office. We've had some changes in the past year. So in May, I was elected, at the local election, and then on June 30th, I was appointed town clerk. We also have Subara, who was appointed assistant town clerk, also on June 30th. So now we have a 40-hour position and a 30-hour position in the town clerk's office.
Sorry to interrupt first on your first slide. We have a few new members here. Could you just give a brief outline in terms of how the clerk's office was run before appointed?
Sure, before the appointed, Lisa Harden was the town clerk. She had no set office hours.
Sorry, please speak away from the microphone. I didn't mention that.
That's okay.
Real close, you have to bring it about 4 inches.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Good.
All right.
Before Lisa Harden was the town clerk, and she had no set office hours, so it was pretty much run by, I was the assistant town clerk, and Sue was the part-time person in the office.
Yep.
And
And it was an elected position back then.
yes,
Yeah.
it was elected, correct. It was elected. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, perfect.
okay. Any questions so far? All right, the next slide is our election turnout for 2025. We have 7,362 registered voters. So the local election was 9%, 601 voters. The special election, the middle high school renovation, we had 29%, 2,146 voters. Town meeting for spring, we had 204 people attend, and then for the fall, we had 683. Yeah, the next slide. With the elections that we'll have in the elections that we'll have in 2026, we have 3 elections and 2 town meetings. I don't have to read them to you, but we have a state primary and then we have a general state election. So September and November, we have large state elections.
And this is a normal event list per
Correct.
year, right?
Correct, yeah. Everyone in Massachusetts will have the same
Yeah.
September and November.
Perfect.
And then we have our local election and our 2 town meetings, spring and fall. What the town clerk is doing is we're trying to get more people to come and vote. 6%, 9% and 29%, I feel is low. So we're gonna work on getting more signage, maybe promoting things at the high school and the senior center, just trying to get people to come, just more activity, more civic activity. The biggest change in our office has been since 2022, when the Commonwealth of Massachusetts accepted MGL, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 54, Section 25B, which allows every registered voter to receive a mail-in ballot if they wish to do so. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, In 2024 for the presidential, we mailed over 3,000 ballots. Prior to the June of 2022, we mailed about 40 to 50.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's big, and then this is what, the next slide is basically the good old days when we had one-day elections where people came in and they voted and it was over. Now with the mail-in ballots, it's a 4 to 6 week process, and this just kind of tells you. So the elections are no longer one day, they're, they can drag on depending on the type of election, or at least for presidential would be about 6 to 8 weeks.
So more convenient for the voter,
Correct, absolutely.
less convenient for the clerk's office?
It's just another challenge for the
Okay.
town clerk's office, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Can I ask a question?
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Given that there's legislation in front of the United States Congress called the SAVE Act.
Yeah.
What would you anticipate, what would be the difficulty for you as town clerk and other town clerks in meeting some of the requirements of proof of citizenship if that was to pass?
I guess I'm glad I'm not in a big major city because I think it would be so much more challenging, but it would be a lot of work for us to make sure, checking licenses, checking passports, checking different things. I think it'd be similar to provisional where we let the people vote and then we take, 4 to 6 days to figure out, to go through the state will help us run things. The state will be helping us if this happens to check, the legality or the, citizenship of the voter. So I think it would be similar to provisional, where we let people vote, but then we hold off and putting it in our count until we have a definite answer.
Mhm.
So to that. Good. The biggest thing I would figure this committee would want to know is changes to our budget. The biggest line item budget we have in here is, the most significant is the election worker wages. Because we do have, September election, we have mandatory 1 week of early voting, November, we have 2 weeks of early voting. And we have, 3 elections, so it just increases our election budget. The primary election is tricky because precinct 1 has a separate ballot than precinct 2 and 3. So we have to do some training, same with our poll pads, we have to verify before we certify results. That train our people that every time someone gets a ballot, you have to document what ballot. Considering we have a large number of unenrolled voters, we have to ask each person which ballot they would like to receive. So that's some training for us. We do try to apply for every election grant and every early voting reimbursement grant from the state, which can range anywhere from 10,000 to 35,000 per year, depending on what pretty much how much early voting we have.
And I think you have in a further slide, how many grants you get?
We have a further slide of basically what the ones that we have. I was allowed to, like, the December election, even though it was a local election, the select board and town administrator decided to have early voting, so all residents felt they had a chance to vote. So I was able to apply for that. So you can do local elections, but state and federal are mandated early voting hours
With you.
and times. The other increase, we have a slight increase in contractual agreements for LHS, which is our poll pads, and election system software, which is our ballot. They print our ballots and code our machines. So those are the slight increases in the election budget. And just a few more little brief things. Mentoring classes. Sue and I take mentoring classes all year. It helps us to keep up to date on election procedures, advanced removal and deposit for early voting ballots, and just up to date on all the new laws. There's just a lot happening, as like anyone's job. There's just a lot of new laws, new procedures that we need to follow. The training that the state has done really a wonderful job updating everything, but everything came to fruition the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. So we have a new Maverick system, which is our vital system, which allows the town clerks to edit death certificates, burial permits, and things like that. That required weeks and weeks of mandatory training. We have a new online portal for voter reimbursement, which again is fun, but takes a lot of training. And the last is the whole voter registration information system, which we call VRIS, that has all of our data in it. They have rolled out a new, better format, which will require training all year for us.
Okay,
Questions?
and these systems collectively are better because they're more up to date?
They are better. They're supposed to help us, but like any, they rolled out VRIS in January and then they took it back. And then they're gonna roll it back out again mid-March, so soon, next week.
Yeah, and is it, a lot of manual hours to put the death certificate and burial information into the new
It's,
system?
the new system, it's wonderful now that it works, but it was very challenging when we were
Okay.
first learning.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
getting better.
it is getting better. It will be wonderful. It will be very easy for us, but it was a learning curve for every, not just Millis, for every town clerk's
Yeah.
office in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any questions?
I have a
Go
question,
ahead, Pete.
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if you're gonna go over your
Sure.
budget sheets, so you can defer the
Yeah, yeah.
answer,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, is it a budget related? Do
Uh,
you wanna wait till we get to that page or do you wanna ask now?
Actually, I don't know, it's,
Sure.
you decide, it's,
Okay.
I usually, these are covering expenses, not necessarily revenue, and I'm
Okay.
just curious as to if you could go over the reimbursement and how that state calculates that, you just mentioned it.
Sure.
Is it per voter, is it per election, what magnitude of funds do we receive?
We can receive anywhere up to 35,000, which is mostly a presidential, like local election is usually about 5 to 15, and a state would be, I'd say, about 20 to 25. It's only early voting. So it covers any election workers that work early voting or mail-in ballots. I have to distinguish, it's quite a interesting grant. We have to distinguish percentages. So I have people come in to help mail out, let's say, the postcards will go out in July to all 7,362 voters. So when they come back, people will say, I want to vote in just the general election, I want to vote all. So we do that. So if we have 3,000, 4,000 ballots, we have to the state doesn't give us our ballots until like a month before. So I have people come in and help me mail them out. So they are reimbursed. Postage is reimbursed. Early voting ballots are reimbursed. The coding for the early voting ballots through election system software is reimbursed. Sue's time and my time are both reimbursed. Just
Great.
for early voting and mail-in ballots, not for election day at all.
And do those funds go into the general fund, or do they come to the clerk's office?
They go into the general fund. They go, I mean, they come and Lisa tells me this grant came in, but it does go, yes, into the general fund.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
So if early voting and voting by mail were stopped
Yes,
under the SAVE Act,
yes.
it would end up costing us more money to hold elections because we wouldn't be reimbursed for a big portion of it.
If everyone didn't have the right to a mail-in ballot, it would probably save us money because it would be just one day, the election would be one day. And you have the occasional absentee that comes in, they're a nurse or they're a firefighter that works 24-hour shift. We always have absentee, we've always had that. We've had about anywhere from 50 to a local election to, 350 to a presidential, but we've never had thousands and thousands of ballots that we've sent out. So I would, if it comes down to you can't do mail-in ballots, there's a lot of discussion. I think the town clerks are going to Washington in April to discuss the cost. But that's why we have the early voting grants, because it was just an exorbitant amount of time.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
so I'm interested to know, if with all the thousands of ballots that you're mailing out now, has that increased that percentage of votes that you showed on an earlier slide?
We didn't have any mail-in ballots last year in 2025. What the state did not send postcards. They only send them every other year. So they'll send them 2026 and 2028 for the presidential. So last year, no, it did not include. We did have some people can always request an absentee ballot. We do have UOCAVA, people living overseas that can request ballots. But normally we only have 40 to 50 people per election. Presidential is about 300, 350. But last year we weren't mandated to mail out ballots to anyone who filled out the postcard.
But is the idea that that'll increase participation, like that those numbers will go up?
We're hoping, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Millis votes in the presidential. We have anywhere from 80 to 90% in the presidential, but the other elections we're not, we don't have the volume that we have for the presidential. You're welcome.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good, sure. That is the software. And the last one is just enhanced things that we're working on, enhanced filing. The town clerk is the keeper of records. And we have lots of records, lots of planning board, zoning board, just lots of stuff, but unfortunately, not a consistent filing. So planning board sometimes is filed under the developer and zoning is filed under the street and, you know, something else is filed under a project name. So we're trying to have a consistent filing in our office just to help not only people in town find information, but also for the residents to find information.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
And perhaps you or Mike could answer this. We talked about, vote clickers for town meeting for a while.
Yeah.
Are we any closer to doing that?
We had talked about them for the school project, and it just did not come to fruition. We do have, Sue and I actually got, cost figures. We got you know, how much it would cost us. It's about $16,000. Medway has them. Stephanie, the town clerk in Medway, Dottie has them in Westwood. So we were talking about usually order 500. So in the last, one of the town meetings, we had over 500, so we could share with a local town if we needed to order more than 500, but I don't think on a regular basis we would have.
But have we
we would
planned,
need-
are we gonna do it or?
we talked about it, but it didn't come to fruition. I don't think we had the support of, I don't wanna misspeak, Mike, did we have the support of the select board or? I don't wanna say
Yeah.
something inaccurate.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hello.
The select board, I think, did discuss it a couple of years ago.
Agreed.
They have not really discussed it at length again. It certainly is a policy discussion. I don't think it has been formally brought up to them again in the last year or so, so it's something that they may consider.
Yeah.
I think they did discuss the pros and cons of it at, you know, again, a couple of years ago, but there's been no recent discussion about it. That's really all I can say to it.
Okay.
We can definitely we can definitely get an updated,
Revisit it, yeah.
expend, you know, cost.
It'd be nice to have, but it's not a high priority right now.
Right.
Okay.
And that concludes, thank you, Amanda, that concludes the presentation. There really isn't much significant increase in, the biggest one is the wages for the election workers, and there's a slight increase for LHS. They're now charging us, there are poll pads, $300 an event just to have an on-call person in case there's problems, so. And election system software has raised the price of ballot printing ballots and.
Okay, so let's just pause for a second
Sure.
here, so. So the, so I'm on the budget, salary wages, 140 to 157, is that the appointed versus elected, or is, okay?
Is it town clerk? We have 3 different budgets. We have town clerk, election,
Yep.
and registrar, okay.
Yep, I saw those, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the, correct, that's on the second budget. Election budget, 26,000 to 55,000,
That's the election workers
it is,
for the early vote. Well, I won't say most, a portion of it will be reimbursed through the early voting grant.
gotcha,
Mhm.
yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
So salary department head, that's no longer an item. Was that included in the 157,970?
Salary department head was Lisa Harden's old stipend,
Okay,
and we kept it in for last year because we did not know how the
Yeah.
election would go or what would happen.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions on the budget? I think we're good,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
appreciate everything you do behind the scenes and prep and post election.
and all the other work you do all year long,
All the other
all
work.
the other things you have to deal with
Thank you.
as town clerk.
Thank you.
I have one more question, how's the dog license software going?
It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. We can send emails to people and say, you know
Yeah.
what, if you don't register your dog by the end of March, you're gonna get a $25 late fee from
Yeah.
the animal control
And
officer.
people are no longer barking at them because
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
it's a great tale.
It is.
He's been waiting 2 weeks to deliver that.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Thank you, Sue.
When are you going away again?
Yeah.
There'll be more jokes.
All right, building department.
You muzzle him?
Oh, my God.
This is a tough act to follow.
It's all for the good.
Good evening, Paul.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Bob Fogarty, building inspector, here to review the 2027, or fiscal year 27's budget. I do not have a PowerPoint, I'm just gonna work from the budget sheet if that's.
That's fine.
Yeah, we have one.
Yeah.
No, go back downstairs and.
Amanda's gonna put it up for us as well.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right, starting at the top, inspector compensation is a line item that, gets factored in every year for fees that, get paid to the inspectors to do an inspection, so. If you see, we did reduce that 15,000, and that was based on where we're coming in this year and kind of a general feel of where it's going forward, so pull back on that a little bit. And hopefully, still accounts for everything. So,
Yeah.
Longevity, there's only one member of the office right now that gets longevity, it's not me. And that's that.
Yeah,
Salaries, clerical, this number is made up of two positions, one is a 28-hour and one is a 8-hour position. It's been in this format for a couple of years now, so pretty much status quo with that. Salaries department head is, that's salary for the department head.
yeah,
Stipends, for all the individual inspectors that work for the town. The difference in cost for that is basically just the cost of living increase that's applied year after year on that.
Mr. Chair,
yeah, go ahead, Pete.
can you just confirm, and I think it's again there's some new members on the committee, that the inspector compensation is up and down because the inspectors are compensated based on number of inspections, not necessarily hourly or wages, or positions, it's not a salary.
Correct, so yeah, they are only compensated per inspections. And the stipends that generally, they get issued monthly to each of the inspectors for, being an employee of the town, but.
Is the revenue that's collected from an inspection, is that basically a 1-for-1 pass through to the inspector, or does the town still, is it over and above, the fee over and above what the compensation is for the inspector?
It's essentially a wash, so yeah, it is kind of a 1-for-1.
Okay.
And it's been that way, that's kind of the practice that's been in place for a while, it works.
Yeah.
So I don't see any issues with it now or going forward.
Actually, if we could just take one more step back on the salary department head.
Sure.
Could you just go through just the ebb and flow of the different salaries here? So like 102, 120, 102, 113.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Take that only because some of that predates.
Yeah,
Current inspector.
Yeah.
That has to do with the change in the department heads and seniority, different aspects there.
Gotcha.
And this is actually a union position.
Yep,
It's in the SEIU. So this is all contractual and the different, wage levels had to do with some transition over about a 3-year period. So it really has nothing to do with the current, building commissioner. It has to do with the fact that folks came and went.
Yeah.
And per the contract, when commissioners come in, there's a little flexibility on the town as far as what step they start at, depending on how much experience they have and so forth, but. Again, that had to do with change in staff.
so the change from fiscal year 26 to 27, the 102 to 113 is the contractual?
Yeah, well, no, that amount in itself isn't contractual, but there was a change in staff, there's a change in.
Sorry, correct, yeah.
And it was just, I'd have to go back and look exactly why exactly those numbers were put in there. But for the most part, it has to do with just different staffing.
Correct.
Yeah,
I'm with you now.
different people in the position,
Yeah.
not the level of staff.
Correct, yeah. I'm with you. Go ahead, Mike.
Can you tell us the permit fees? Are they in line with permit fees in other towns similar to Millis?
Yeah, so in July of 2024, there was a permit fee increase, and so that was done previous to my time. We're definitely in line with other communities, so.
So we wouldn't be looking at any increases in the near
No, I
future.
don't think anytime soon. I think with the increase in 2024, I think that sets us good for a while forward.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, go ahead.
I just want to make sure I understand the difference between the inspector compensation and the stipends. Is the stipend like a fixed amount per year, and then the inspector compensation is the amount we charge per, or that we compensate per inspection?
So the inspector compensation is basically just, it's a lump sum that's there that does compensate for the actual inspectors perform. The stipend is paid monthly to the different inspectors for being on, it can range through a few of the inspectors, but in general, it's a minimal fee each month paid to the inspectors.
So they get, I'm sorry.
But, yeah, hang on, well, like, clarify.
Like, Mr. Chair, just
Yeah.
to expand on that a little bit, there's two different basic functions to the inspector jobs. Some of it is just the base inspections, they go out and do an inspection and they get paid a certain amount for that and come back.
Yeah.
Other parts of their job are just administrative, there are things they have to do, there are certain times that they have to come into the office. And otherwise, they wouldn't get paid for that. So it's almost like just a base for the base administrative things they have to do. And then the inspector compensation is really based on the workload of out in the field that they have to get the inspections done.
Gotcha.
So it's sort of a hybrid. A lot of towns do that, and it actually winds up being a lot less expensive way for the towns to handle this in the long run, rather than having, 25-hour-a-week person. that
Yeah.
Just paid a salary and get benefits and so forth. This way, there's only two people in the building department that actually are benefited employees.
Yeah.
Everyone else is considered part-time. and
Yeah.
They just get paid for the pieces they do.
Yeah.
And then coverage.
Yeah.
And the depth of coverage too, because sometimes we have a first assistant, second assistant. And to make sure that we always have people 24/7. If there's a fire, if there's issues, there's people ready to come in and cover.
Gotcha.
So it provides that depth.
Makes sense.
So.
Yep. I do have a question.
That was exactly my question, the stipend versus compensation, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
Right, so stipends will stay relatively flat.
Right.
But the inspector compensation will fluctuate based on how much building and work going on.
Yeah, go ahead, Joyce.
And who are the inspectors?
They're listed on the
On the
other
next
page.
page, actually.
On the
Oh,
next
is it on
page.
the next page?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, all right, then.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Fogarty, do you have a position where you're an inspector now? Did you at one time, were you at one time an inspector? Prior, yeah,
In Millis, yeah, I was hired back in 2020 as just one of those stipend type employees. And I've done about 2 years in that capacity, so, yeah,
but you're no longer?
no.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
I'll do it.
all good.
Okay. Auto mileage reimbursement is essentially the fee, the stipend inspectors are compensated for the mileage. They use their own vehicles to perform the inspections and, therefore they submit their mileage when they, perform inspections, and in turn, the state, sets a fee that we base that off of the pay them for their mileage that they should use for their vehicles.
Gotcha.
Subscriptions is, we have online access to all the building codes, which when we're out in the field. It's good to have all the books and everything in office, but when you're out in the field, there's a lot of times you need access to the books, in real time, and, it's also used in the office a ton, so it's almost a necessity, just to have all the information you need at any given time. So that subscription line covers that. The meetings, fees for inspector,
It's almost like the last four lines aren't changed at all.
Yeah.
right, they're all pretty similar, and everything kind of fell in line through the end of last year, so I kept that where it was.
Gotcha, yeah.
And, you know, meetings and everything, there's with the different trade inspectors between building, electrical, plumbing and gas, we all have groups that we have to belong to, there's continuing education. Those groups put on monthly meetings, they do annual type events where, you know, we're required to attend them. So that basically covers all of that. The postage, at this point in time, the postage almost is like solely covering, certified mail we have to send out, so. That's that, and supplies and expenses, is basically everything, you know, just takes to keep the interior of the office going throughout the year.
Gotcha. And the postage is, it looks like that's not increasing, so that has no, that's not a cause and effect from the number of inspections that are going on or anything like that.
No,
Okay.
no, cause there's multiple situations that could create that, not just an inspection alone, it could be zoning, but we're actually, I think, right in line to be even with that, so.
Yep.
It's good to keep where it's at.
Yeah, it looks pretty, even at the end of the budget, so.
Yeah.
Any other final questions or thoughts? No? Any final thoughts from you?
No, I mean, I just, you know, thanks to everybody, I mean, I'm new.
Yeah.
I'll be a year. Kind of initially committed the 1st of April, but officially committed early May, but, you know, it's been a good year. Jen and Teresa in the office have been great, all the inspectors have been great, so, just keep it going in that manner.
Yeah.
It's been good, it's been productive, so.
And next year when you come back, you'll have a better sense of how true the numbers are and what's
Absolutely.
changing.
Yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
Oh, one last question.
Could you comment real quick on what you're seeing on the impact of the ADLs from your department? You know, are there a lot of them? ADUs, sorry. Are
Yeah,
they difficult to inspect or easy? You know, there's not much governing them or just.
no, I think we might be a little slower as far as permitting them. We only have 3 to date that have been permitted. I still think there's a lot of people that aren't even fully aware of them. What I intend on doing, and I know we have a new website coming along, but I still won't even get it up on our current website. Is put together a page that kind of breaks down that whole thing, just to kind of educate the public and, you know, because otherwise they're coming in, they're not knowing anything about it, so we gotta go over it. I think that going forward is gonna be, it's gonna grow each year, is my feeling, the more word gets out and the more, you know, people know about it. So,
Thank you.
good.
One other quick
One
one.
more, yeah.
So on the online application process.
Yep.
You've processed over 800 now. Are you seeing that like increasing in volume because now it's easier, and or is it making it faster for you guys and for whomever is applying for the permits?
I think all of the above. It's definitely more efficient. It, you know, it allows easier communication between applicants and us. Whereas, you know, they don't have to come to the office. So that's a win all around. And I'm glad it's in place and, you know, I love it. So.
Definitely a different opinion than the last one.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night.
thank you.
Right. Oak Grove. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for coming down.
Nice to meet you.
I see you, George.
Thank you.
So you picked up my narrative and everything and.
We do. Yeah.
We're gonna quiz you.
We highlighted questions, we're ready to go. Yeah. Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
All right, people don't know me, my name's John McAvoy, Chairman of the Oak Grove Farm Commission. I'm here to present the 2027 budget. A little general information to start. The commission was created by town meeting vote in 1984 to oversee, maintain, and improve the historic Oak Grove Farm property for the residents of Millis. I'm just saying this so people on TV can
Yeah,
A little bit.
and we also have new members too, I mean, it's all, and it's a good
Right.
refresher to have, so,
Right.
so have at it, yeah.
The property is 108 acres. The boundaries are Island Road to Orchard Street and Exchange Street to Ridge Street. The farmhouse is not underneath our management, so we don't control that farmhouse. There are 5 members on our commission, we're all volunteer. The property has a number of different areas to enjoy, a playground, a garden area, athletic fields, and a trail system throughout the property. All of these have undergone large improvements in the past few years. Much of our maintenance and improvement go to the areas, but we also have trees and parking lots that require maintenance. Many of the maintenance projects and improvements have been completed by the commission members. Some large maintenance or improvement projects may need more specific skills, materials, or equipment and require outside contractors. All of this maintenance has been written in the narrative, and I'm sure if anybody has any questions of that, does anybody have any questions?
Go ahead, Mike.
I noticed tree care has nothing on it. Is that included in property maintenance?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Jody decided to do that with us, so.
That's fine. He's trying to bundle things
No,
together,
no.
so you have less line items. I
Yeah, we
know.
don't have a lot, we
Yeah.
actually have fewer line items than we do right now, so.
Yeah.
So. For the 2027 budget, we request the same budget of last year, $8,000. We have moved some amounts in our line items to address expenses in certain areas. Just for example, the water bills have increased so that we have increased that line. We have very little water at Oak Grove because of the system and the pressure, so we're basically paying for that access. So that's my spill. Does anybody have any questions?
Go ahead, Eric.
Two questions.
Mhm.
So first off, are expenses related to the replacement of playground equipment? Is that being tracked on the capital plan?
We haven't gone to the capital budget yet because it's still in pretty good shape, so when it hit, but we probably should go to the capital beyond their plan, so.
Yeah, it's a forward-looking plan,
Correct.
so it'd be good to get on that. And the second thing is, what resources would it take to like really get these soccer fields in good shape?
We just started a maintenance program.
And you think that's gonna do it?
It's gonna take 3 years. I mean, I was in municipal work for years and it takes at least 3 years to get a good field going.
Okay.
You know, and we did go to the marijuana a couple years to get a field study in the field, but unfortunately, they didn't give us the money, so we had to come up with a plan itself, so. We've been liming for, I think I put in the narrative.
You did,
Yeah.
yeah.
They look a lot better.
And is that in its first year, second year, third year?
Well, we started last year.
Okay.
It's gonna take.
I just know, listening to you and Oak Grove in general,
Yeah.
over the years, it's always been a struggle with Mother Nature in terms of what the grass is like and the conditions and the water and,
Well, not having water down there, parts is pretty bad.
yeah.
How can you get water down?
It costs a lot of
That's
money.
what, you have to put a new water line in.
See that in drill a well, put in the water line in.
Yeah.
That wasn't very good forward thinking when we took over that.
I mean, if you go by in a couple weeks, we just put lime in the fall, we saw that, you're gonna see that place green right up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. It's everybody, not only in Millis, but every commuter sees it as they go by on 115 there, and you guys I know are doing your best to
Mhm.
maintain it and improve it, so it's much appreciated.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair.
Go ahead, Pete.
I should know the answer to this, but I don't. And so I'm curious if how the Oak Grove Farm Commission is funded. I see that they make revenue, and is there a revolving fund that they're directly funded, or is it all come from the general fund? And if you don't know,
I can
then
answer.
please, thank you.
We have a basic budget and we have a revolving fund in case we can't cover something.
Okay.
Like, right now, we're going through the process of getting a hay guy back here to hay it. And if we don't, we might have to take that money out of our budget. If it doesn't come in this year.
Okay.
Just, something like that. Jody told me that the revolving fund will cover salaries from us, because we don't pay any salaries for him, so. And we might have to pay out of the contractor fund.
Okay, thank you. I'm asking because some of these things are a little bit obscure
Mhm.
and I certainly didn't remember the details on it, so.
Fair point.
Real value at $8,000.
It's a bargain.
It is.
Yeah, no salary, no vacation.
And we thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
A lot of
Good.
usage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many people are in your, how many people volunteer?
We have 5.
Yeah.
And 4 of us, 70 above.
Are you grooming, your succession?
Well, it's, you know, you
Yeah.
know, I don't have many volunteers come to the town. I don't know if Mike does, but.
Totally non-financial related, but I wonder, can that be like a senior project or something like that to weave in the high school kids or something?
They could.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to babysit them. so.
They are high school kids. Yeah.
You got OSHA stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Careful about the equipment, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They gotta be a certain age.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on.
On the town cleanup day, that's probably coming up in April, do the volunteers also help out at Oak Grove when they're picking up litter? and-
Actually, they never come down there. The only part they do is Island Road.
Really?
Off of Extension, we've never seen them down there.
Wow.
Maybe, yeah, it's worth getting on the list to make sure that volunteers end up down there.
Yeah, I mean, we've taken a lot over the years. The
Yeah.
garden club gave up the garden.
Yeah.
The playground. Gave
The
up the playground
playground.
committee, so we've taken a lot more since I've been on there for a while.
Yeah,
So it's a lot more work than,
then the
done a
average.
lot of hours down
And there
there.
were a lot more volunteers on.
Yeah.
Way back then there was.
Yeah. It's because there was no technology, we had nothing else to do, right?
I think
Yeah, I hear you.
You're gonna have to-
Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight.
You're welcome.
All right.
Appreciate it.
They has the. Our kids grew up together.
Come on down. Get queued up here. How are you? Thanks.
Good evening, Finance Committee, John McVeigh, Director of Public Health. Narrative here, the Millis Board of Health assesses and addresses the health needs of the Millis community. The Health Department implements and oversees the policies and regulations as mandated by the Board of Public Health, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. Our mission and responsibility is that protection of the community through health promotion, surveillance, and permitting activities. Haven't done it overhead, so.
No worries at all. Just you can
Yeah, we have. it.
plug along.
Yeah,
We got all the info right in front of us, so
Yeah.
we'll just follow along with you.
Personnel services are much the same except for the SEIU increases. That, and the only things that they think that may actually change is a nurse, because we're looking at, Millis Medway, IMA and PHN, the public health nurse.
You wanna talk about that for a second? Give
Yeah,
us the background?
well, yes, the background is that we are looking to get 15 hours a week, as opposed to 10 hours a week. And helping that way, as well as them helping us with that, saving us 30 hours total.
And is that because they're in the same boat as we are in terms of need to
Yes.
share in our, okay. Mike, yeah,
I give Chairman,
Little add-on?
as the select board, did just, their last meeting, sign an intermunicipal agreement with, the town of Medway for a shared nurse. Of course, it's contingent on the appropriations, but essentially, we've, for the longest time, since before I arrived here, I think we had a town nurse that was anywhere from 8 to 10 hours a week. Our most recent nurse, Sarah, did a great job for us. But because of just changes in her family life and obligations, she had to, take a break, give that up for a period of time. And we had a very hard time filling that position. It's kind of a niche, position for 10 hours a week. So, in speaking with John and other folks at the Board of Health, there was a need for some additional hours, so. We had discussions with Medway, they had similar needs, so, what we're doing is doing a trial of, through this IMA of each town having 15 hours per week, so basically the town nurse would be here 2 days a week, would be in Medway 2 days a week. Some of the good aspects of this are that, you know, if we were to have some health emergency, they could spend the whole week here, you know, if the emergency was unique to Ellis and vice versa in Medway. So, you know, it was seen as a win-win. Again, we're gonna see how this goes and, you know, we're hopeful that we'll be able to attract someone, you know, it'll have a larger pool of applicants because of the 30 hours a week.
This will be an article in the morning. Or not?
It will not.
It will not, okay.
No, but we also are continually seeking, you know, a third town to see if we can find another town that's interested to take the other 10 hours. So we're always looking for opportunities to kind of beef up our regional sharing. It's one of the few avenues we can try to take to keep costs down.
Yep. Go ahead, Mike.
I take it you looked at either hiring or Medway or hiring here, whichever would be cheaper, what's it?
Yeah, we looked at both, we decided hiring here probably worked the best. We do have that same arrangement on the ACO, but again, they pick up their full portion, so we
Yeah.
assess them for all the extraneous costs related to the operations, not just for this, as it will come into being, but for the ACO. So we account for all the employee costs and, you know, whether it be the Medicaid percentages and all that, that's all rolled in. So they, the pensions and all that stuff. Go ahead.
On shared services like these, is there like a notification period from one town to the other that if they ever decide to back away from an agreement that they have to give, you know, a budget
90 days.
a budget cycle?
90 days.
So how would you handle that? Say we're in, you know, 90 days and you were well away from your annual budget review and appropriation, what would you do?
Well, we'd probably have to reduce the hours of that person, say from 30 down to 15. And if that wasn't appropriate for that person, they would probably have to seek other employment. But yeah, there's always, you know, we've never had that problem. I mean, as you say, there's always a first.
Sure.
But Medway's always been a good regional partner with us. I'm certainly sure with the current administration over there, they would give us more heads up than 90 days if something would occur, but the contract basically states 90 days. We'd have to reconfigure you know, say something like the ACO, we'd have to reconfigure that.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. I mean, you do have
Yeah.
reserve funds, you could make a reserve. There are
Yeah.
other means, but
There are the short-term things, but certainly for the long term, we'd have to find another partner, or we'd have to, you know, adjust the operations of the department accordingly.
thank you.
No, okay. Go ahead.
The operating expenses, they have pretty much stayed the same, except some small minor increases. They're, that's that. No, something.
It was pretty straightforward. Yeah. Into last year. Well, I have a non-budget question. Are measles coming to Massachusetts?
I hope not.
Okay, me too.
Yes.
Okay.
I already had them, don't need them again.
Any other final thoughts or questions? All right, well,
Thank you.
pretty straightforward. Yeah,
Right,
thank
thank you.
you very much for coming in tonight.
Thanks
Appreciate
for all
it.
your work all year long.
Right, thank you very much.
Hey, we are moving along here. Going on to the minutes. So the minutes are, from last week. And, hopefully everyone had a chance to read through those.
Very good job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Amanda and team are polishing up, so it's reader friendly.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move the committee vote to approve the minutes as written for the March 4th meeting.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded, that the, meeting minutes from March 4th, been approved as written. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
State.
Abstain? Brett was not here for the March 4th meeting. Perfect, okay, yep. Okay, so we're humming along here, actually. Yeah, quick night here.
Quick night.
So, got minutes, old business, new business, so next week we are not meeting. in terms of the departments that are ready, and bundling them together, Amanda, myself and Mike Kaczynski have been working through. So we'll be picking up on the 25th, the following week, so 2 weeks out. I will be traveling for work, so Mike Crone will be chairing that meeting. But then pretty much from April 1st all the way through town meeting on May 4th. We will be busy, minus the spring, this April vacation. Jen Zaretsky's helping with not terpsichore, terpsichore. And it's Chocolate Factory, what, do you know?
Oh, yeah, Charlie and the
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, yeah, so that's why she hasn't been here. Heidi's gonna take a little vacay coming up, so just be mindful, if you think you're gonna be missing a meeting, just let me know so we can plan accordingly.
And we also want to make sure we have a quorum, so.
Yes.
Especially when we start to make votes, when we do our
Yeah.
voting on warrant articles.
The meetings on the 25th of March and going forward are gonna be more heavy duty in nature. We're gonna be sitting down with Mike, Jody, DPW, the school, some of the bigger budgets. So there's gonna be plenty of information to pour over, read through. So if you have questions ahead of time, feel free, fire them over so we can get them over to the department head. And they can bring answers to the meeting when they attend. But there'll be a lot of information going on, and then we will go through our recommendation meeting, and then FinCom report, and then pre-town meeting, then we'll roll into Springtown meeting, so it'll be here before we know it.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Pete.
do you or does anybody else on the committee do they know or care to speculate on what does the school budget look like this year?
We can all speculate, but I don't know. I don't have any numbers to provide, and I haven't been given any numbers to provide.
Yeah.
So I think, to be quite honest, I think that's kind of one of the reasons why we're taking a pause next week as well, so people can tune up their numbers.
Are they plugged in for the 25th?
They're gonna be April first.
April, yeah.
First, okay.
Yeah, April first will be the school and DPW.
Wow.
So actually, if you hold on for a second. Let's see here. I know, here we go. So on the March 25th, we're gonna have finance office, debt service, tri-county. Jane Harden will be coming in, Community Preservation Act, Conservation Commission. So that's a full lineup for that meeting. And then on the first, to Amanda's point, middle schools, DPW, including the enterprise funds. And then by then, capital planning will be ready to make their recommendations for select board. John and Barry will be in here. Town building, employee benefits, general insurance, executive office, and town council will be reviewed on April 8th. And actually, if you wanna put that into the server, the schedule for people.
Yeah, I can do that. And I actually did talk to Jody today. She'd like to move debt service to April 8th. Just because she may not have some of those
Yeah.
figures, by the 25th. She can still come and do the
Yeah.
finance offices, accounting, assessors and treasury on the 25th. And then she'll come back again on the 8th to do the debt service. And then I do need to confirm with the conservation, tri-county and, the other one that was there,
Community Preservation Act.
community preservation.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
And hang on, and I do believe I think Kathy McGinnis was on Community Preservation Act, is that correct? I think so. I'm going by memory, but so if anyone wants to be a liaison for that, speak up, you don't have to, but it'd be appreciated to be more involved. Usually the finance committee, and as Eric is experiencing now with the capital planning, there's always other committees and subcommittees to be part of. So if people can be aware of that and try to contribute where they can, it'd be much appreciated. Go ahead, Mike.
Do we know if there are any other than budget warrant articles, are there any other warrant articles that are coming before us this time?
I talked to town administrator and we reviewed that there'll be about 20 articles, but I don't know any of the specifics of those articles.
So those are in addition to the budget articles? The standard stuff like, rollover monies, the
Yeah.
town budget and so forth.
Article number 3 usually is the fiscal year budget.
Something on top of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think, but I don't, again, I don't know what they are, but usually, I looked at last spring's town warrant, and there's about 20 as well.
Yeah, don't we usually get them by now?
It's open, warrant's open,
Yeah.
so I think
Still, yeah.
so they're working on it. Question, you good?
I would just make a comment that
Sure.
if anybody has questions, everything we've had so far has been fairly non-controversial and, but if you have questions along the way that you feel like you need follow-up answers, you ought to voice those to the chair whenever, so that on April 8th, since we're not gonna get the budget, school budget and DPW budgets, which are the biggest budgets, until the 1st, and we're voting on the 8th. If we have questions, we ought to invite those people back for follow-ups.
That's a great point. That's a really good point. And on that note, Amanda and I talked, so on the bottom of each minutes, if there are follow-up items such as something specific, we're gonna be listing them in the minutes so we can follow to make sure that whether that person or department is coming back or whether there's following up with a document. Yeah.
So I mean, so if we're voting on the 8th, but we have not seen the preliminary warrant. How's that possible? I mean, we only got 3 weeks away and we haven't seen their 20 warrant articles. But when we presumably, we might have to have the proponents of some of the warrant articles in to meet with us, so I'm surprised that hasn't come to us yet.
Agreed, but it's also 4 weeks away. Be 4 weeks away. I'm not defending, I'm just saying there's time between now and then.
I think my opinion
Three meetings.
would be that the town administrator be added to the agenda for the next 2 meetings to go over the draft
Yeah.
warrant, which he does.
It's a great point.
I'm sure he's anticipating doing so, but.
Yeah.
It's just that if there are proponents, we need to schedule time for them to come in and give their presentations, you know, we only have 3 meetings left before our recommendations, so. It doesn't give us a lot of time to put some of those people in if they're not able to come to our meetings. So, yeah, if you could maybe.
Great point,
push Mike
yeah.
On that, you know.
Do you understand that, Amanda?
Yeah, so add Mike.
Add Mike to go over the draft of the warrant,
Okay.
yeah, and the article of what's,
As an agenda item
Yeah,
on.
as a draft item.
And
3 meetings.
presumably send them to us in advance, so we can start to look at them.
Okay,
And if there are non-budget such as like citizens petitions, then those people should be invited, and anybody on the other side of the issue.
I totally agree, and great point bringing it up. Talking to a town administrator the other day, I asked him if there's anything outside of the norm of the normal articles, and to his knowledge and where we are right now, there's no urgency or urgent or citizens petitions or anything that needs additional focus.
Okay.
So, okay. But you know, another thing to think about is, you know, so I have a question, it's not necessarily, it's budget related, but it's not specific to the budget. And that is, you know, we have, as a town, multiple senior programs seniors to participate in to help reduce their taxes. And my question is out of all those programs, what's the participation rate? All different programs, to see how effective those programs are. That's financial related, but it's not specific to a budget item in here. So that's something that I might want to put forward ahead of time so they can research and bring it to a future meeting. Okay, so if you have questions like that as well, outside of the normal forms and budget items that we're reviewing, by all means, just shoot them over to me and we can get answered for you. Okay, any liaison updates? Capital planning updates?
No, nothing crazy.
Okay.
We had, the capital planning committee is meeting tomorrow. And that 2 weeks ago as well, but, it's a lot of the same presentations, similar presentations.
Yep.
So we're getting a lot of it here.
Do you know how many capital requests have been submitted?
Not an account, but we've seen the fire department, the police department. I think we've seen the DPW. And one other that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Okay,
So, but it's nothing. Oh, we saw the school as well, the school.
Yeah.
But there's nothing crazy on there, it's mostly routine stuff.
okay, yeah. Any COA?
No, we're gonna St. Patty's Day party on Tuesday.
Oh, that's exciting.
So that's nice. We've had a lot of entertainment, a lot of new programs coming. I'm telling you, Anne Marie is amazing.
Good.
We are so lucky to have her as our director. She has brought in some wonderful people, some wonderful programs, and the place is just so lively. So it's nice to see. I mean, it's like its own little country club.
It is.
It is.
It is. Okay. All right.
Move to adjourn.
Been.
Is that what you're looking
for? Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn, all those in